Hey everybody. This is a green notebook. It looks black because the green's keyed out on the screen. I'm gonna go through it. Not all of it, mind you. Just the highlights that I've selected and share them in reverse order. I'll start at the back of the book and just go through it. Um, yeah, here we go. It's too easy to be easy to people always fearing that it's hard. All right, what does that mean? Or what context? I mean, like something it's so easy that if you think or you're afraid it's hard, you're not gonna be able to do it because you have to do it as though it's easy because it's easy. All right. Um, Once again in unbroken sunshine. Um, Nothing ventured, no thing gained. That's like, like you didn't venture anything, nothing was, you know, no great thing to do, and no thing, there's like, that particular rendering of that word usually refers to like formless. It's not something that's not any particular thing like awareness. Um, I should add just like, first of all, that this is a work in progress. Like sharing my writing this way, I haven't done it before, so thanks for your patience. All right, and it gets better. You have to be sharper than the mind to undo its clever tricks, brighter than the mind, softer than silence, closer than here, clearer than space. I know. Yeah, I should have started with a bang, but I'm just starting with the end of the book, which is just like, it's okay. Um, some of it's good, but some of it's just like, okay. I see a child on their bike rolling out of a dead end. To become a far more solid dude, I spent my time in solitude. Alright. To truly know without a doubt, turn that knowledge inside out. Nothing stays the same, but everything changes. Or everything changes, but no thing is changeless. It doesn't like, I like that because when you read it as nothing, it doesn't make sense. It seems to contradict itself. Everything changes, but nothing stays the same. It's like, or it seems to be redundant, not to contradict itself. But when you read it in terms of no thing, meaning that which is no thing, indicating often awareness, if you want to use a word, then it's nice. So, yeah, maybe that's better on the page than spoken, but it's okay. Who tried to no avail and succeeded, it is gone. So, who tried to know, Knowaveil, veil. The idea being like people try to look behind the veil or behind a veil. When you know a veil, if you fully know the veil, or not fully, but you know what I mean, like you look at what's the actual veil is, and that gets you there sometimes. Instead of trying to just, look past it. Another thing that it's not even written here, but that I've thought, it's another thought that I've considered before is yeah, to understand what is subtle, consider what's obvious, and vice versa. And why? I had it phrased already, but just off the top of my head, it's that if you considering something that is obvious, if you look at it, you start to notice what's subtle, right? Rather than just like trying to, where's the subtle? You know what I mean? And if you're missing the obvious, then it probably appears to you as something that's subtle, right? If you're like, where's, you feel like there's something I'm missing. It should be obvious to me that it's not. it's probably because for whatever reason your mind has filtered it out and relegated it to something that you'd only see if you paid your closer attention. So actually, in order to find the obvious, if it's not already obvious, you have to pay attention to what seems subtle. In order to find what's subtle, you start with what's obvious, and your awareness and will bring more and more detail into light, and you'll get to the subtle. You have to start with what's there. Otherwise, you're prone to just making stuff up, or just kind of weaving and wefting or whatever illusion. Wefting? I don't think that's a word, but why not? Okay. My mind is sound. My mind is music. All right. Wise as water. Okay. Okay, that's blending seams of handheld sunsets. K-harmony. CHAORMONY. K-harmony. What are we saying? Magnanimous. So MAGNANONYMOUS. Magnanimous. Magnanimity. I think that's better. Instead of magnanimity, magnanimity. Magnanimous is like greatness of soul, and anonymousness, you know what it means. So this is like a combination of those two. All right. Some if they could would always laugh, others in heart ever cry. The only constancy I claim is that I am always I. All right. This is a little bit of a song that I have not fully fleshed out. Send my voice into the sky. Change the world, just change my mind. Okay. A friend named enemy. Okay. There's no letting go of letting go. No running away from running away. No criticizing criticism, or kind of. If you're really trying not to criticize ever, then you see someone criticizing, you're like, oh, I can't even criticize that, because then I'd be criticizing too. Okay, all right. We're here to break your fixed ideas. The time to continue is already in you. Kind of kind. Somewhere within the rainbow. Suspended in light. With a heart like dawn, beautiful and broken. Well, everybody starts somewhere. We all begin nowhere. I don't know. Just north of time. Knew nothing. Like NEWKNOTHING. Alright. Here we go. Here's a cool thought I had. That occurred to me. Beauty lives in liminality, in the liminals, the in-betweens. Like dawn and sunset are the in-between times, and that's when the sky is the most pretty. Also, you get the rainbow between the storm and the not storm. There's definitely, maybe like the horizon that's, between earth and sky. You can keep looking. If you keep looking, you'll find more. At the time, I definitely came up with more, but these ones all still come to mind now. All right. When I'm lost in love, no one can find me. Bound to be free, so no one can bind me. Um, mm, Struggling to understand why understanding struggles. Yeah, it's like the mind trying to understand why, like its own inbuilt constraints. um, okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of odd. I know, like just jumping between these. Sometimes you can't tell if the two things are one or whether they're not. But kind of like just going through things and letting the cool ones just speak for themselves without deciding that they have to fit in some type of big, great thing or something like that. I don't know. I'm on the fence between whether or not I should do a second tier highlighting of like choosing which ones to read now that I'm actually publicly sharing and not, or whether I should just go and pretty much read them all regardless. I'm kind of erring towards the latter because it makes it easier. I don't have to think as much. So disclaimer, yeah, some of them are just like odd. You'd be like, what does that mean? But if you just like get over like trying to make too much sense of it and just like sort of appreciate what effect an image can just have in your mind or whatever, it's kind of nicer. I'm not saying like, oh, just imagine they're all the best. No, I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying like, um, I'm sensing too like, oh, this is kind of like doesn't follow and it might be misleading for someone else. Now the sense kicks in because I'm actually talking to a camera. Before I did this, just no one's listening and I didn't really care. I was like, okay, cool, But anyway, I'll keep going. Chord tone poems developing. All right, so this is a musical idea. Um, what's brighter than black holes? Different folks for different strokes. Okay. I dip my brush in memories and paint the world its dreams. Orioles skip sky. Okay. Um, before and after, before and after. Like an idea of sequentiality around time, like what's before time, what's after time. It wouldn't be before and after in the sense that we know it in terms of regular time, but it could be, sequentiality, without like continuous time. Anyway, this is just funny. I just thought it was a funny pun. It's kind of like, people talk like, oh, just energy and stuff like that. A lot of people who might, maybe like used to be Christian or something. It's like now they're just like only like energy. But actually, if you put these two words together, they sound funny. Energesus, like ENER capital JESUS. Energesus. If I made band names that were just funny and I thought it would be funny to make a band like that, I would do it. But I don't do that, so I don't usually do that. So it just went in the book. Oh man. That's just too funny. I thought I'd be bold enough to share some of these, but that's too funny for me to say right now. There's another thing. All right. Pay attention to attention. See its grip dissolve. Why do you want your life to be a movie? With a single glance, more than all film, you move me. Oh. Being more moved by someone's, well, I guess probably beauty there, but perhaps if we're going to be nobler, their essence or something like that, as opposed to their histrionics and the whole story that they like to weave about those other things that I just mentioned. Ends to a means to an end. Instead of doing things always for something else, now you're just appreciating the action in and of itself. So it's the ends to a means to an end. Okay. Um, I am not. I am not the one with the answers you seek. I am the answer you seek. Or I do not have the answer. I am the answer. All right. It was wasn't that I had the answers. It was just I had no questions. Some cast out, I cast in to sea. If Hieronymus Bosch painted low worlds, did Loweronymus Bosch do paintings of high ones? Puns. Okay. What do we have here? Closer than close, nearer than near. Letting meaningful activity restore activity's good name. Predictably unpredictable, met unpredictably predictable. Seal the deal and deal the seal. So many things in this world, so many worlds in all things. Alright. You're as fine as Leonardo's motor skills. Yeah, the kind of funny thing is like what tone to use when I say these, because I just like want to have like a grounding one of like soothingness, probably more for myself than, or partially at least as much for myself, I guess, than as for anyone else, because you know I'm sharing from this notebook without really making it perfect, just for potentially anyone. Not that I think everyone's gonna see this, but it's kind of funny. Like I guess it's the challenge here, like using the right tone. But and how to like cue to what the vein, so to speak, like in what vein any particular line is intended. So now I'm more aware of that. That just came to mind. Let's see. From wishful thinking to thoughtful wishing. Ununderstood. Bathing in starlight. More desirable than desire. I don't know, so it's fine. Lululemon, Zulu lime. Sea piece, seeping. I guess this is a similar thing as before, but I'll say it anyway. When did the mystic penetrate reality? Once his longing was no longer to know Bell. Alright. Spinning in the doorway. Tree does not grow all that far from the apple. While we unearth love, warning the stream something. I don't know if it's still working or not. With faith as blind as justice. Some things are easier done than said. Moving on, you're standing off. More than enough and less than too little. Nurturing return. Straight at the origin between infinities. Or in between infinities. Straight at the origin in between infinities. Alright. Life's a sphere, so what's the point? I like that one because people are like, what's the point of life or something like that, and it's like, when you make this allusion to a sphere after hearing that, the sphere is defined by a single point, is it not? And when you're on the surface of it, you can't access that point. By the same token, on the surface of it, the idea of the point is everywhere, or not just the idea of it. Like a sphere is, if you roll a sphere on a piece of paper, it's always contacting the paper by exactly one point. But because it's so perfectly like homogeneous throughout the whole thing, you don't see the point in the surface of the sphere. So I like to make that allusion to life, where it's like when people are like, "What's the point?" It's like, this is the like, you know, not this is the point, but you know, if the point seems hard to find, it's because it's not just one point as contradistinct to everything. It's because it's everywhere, so you can't see it. But then also something of it is like, in the same way that when you like zoom out, then you realize the sphere is defined by a single point. Something is discoverable that you could say like transcends the phenomenal, in a way, and in the way that the point um, seems outside the sphere, like the surface of it, and yet mathematically like makes possible a sphere itself. Okay. Um, so that's that. I'll speak a pathway back to silence. I don't know what I meant by this, but I'll say it. The raven said to the penguin, "You scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours." I don't know. Is it going to be more painful for one than the other, or something like that? I don't know. The world realized what's rarer than gold, and many have taken to selling it. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with selling whatever that refers to, I don't think. But at the time, this is years ago that I wrote this book. Was writing in this book. I guess I had a different opinion. He knows he chose his battles for he landed. Sun to moon to snow to eye. I don't know. What's radiant from one side and clear from the other? Light. Life pours through light pores in sky skin. Life poured through light pores. Oh man. The world is your oyster when your oyster is the world. Oh man. That's funny. Time drops out of the sun, or streams out of the sun, or falls out of the sun. How about time precipitates out of the sun? I don't know. Flying on the winds of rhyme. Okay. Fixed ideas, all generally broken, like silent thoughts, none have spoken. Alright. This cacophonous bliss, a balance struck will oscillate. Alright, birds jumping on the air. I liked skipping. I think that was the development further in the book. Skipping on the air. Skipping on air. And as truly as I've come up short, I have the mark exceeded. It seems as some things always found now that carelessness is heeded. As truly as I came up short, I have the mark exceeded. It seems something's always found now that carelessness is heeded. Oval value vast. Here's a lane where markers blend, midinning, bemiddle, star finish, mid-end. Alright. In this town where beggars choose, the only thing one has is time to lose. Here's a plain where runways rise, an arrow sent through zero flies. Alright, I think it's starting to get better now. For some reason, the things that were not entirely, but largely less good were at the end of the book. Okay, I am everyone. Okay. Now decades blow and circles swirled painlessly. Music is holy, of course. We could cry about it should we choose to. I don't know how to do that. It's part of the larger thing that I don't really want to say. It's not like, oh, bad, or like, I don't want to say, I'm afraid. It's just like, not particularly worth saying in whole, and I don't think that line itself was too worth isolating either, so it's alright. A bucket of yellow magnolias. And I said that just because it's like, why would you just say that? It's like, oh, it is part of this pattern. We can laugh about it if we want to. We could cry about it should we choose. Like, just kind of like, oh, you could feel, how you feel is up to you kind of thing. Anyway, sure someone said this before, but I'll say it too. Spelled P-E-A-C-E, both of them. Piece by piece. In recipe for a mixed drink, a twist of fate. Action at, alright. Questions coalescing. How does infinity fit in me? Actions at infinitesimal distances. Instead of dead end, living end. I don't know, for some reason I'm getting kind of, I won't say entirely bored, but I was just feeling like trying to, you know, I don't know, I don't want to keep going. I thought I was going to go through the whole book, but that's so far I got for now, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah, it's tempting to just delete this and be like, alright, it wasn't as good as it could have been, whatever, but I'll see how long I can leave it up. I know this is kind of just off the cuff.